Hello, and welcome to Women in Business, where we interview entrepreneurs and senior managers and show you the strengths, successes, obstacles, and roadblocks women experience in business. Since I believe every person in business needs to be visible, I'd like to invite you to watch www.sob6, that's the number 6, tips.com, which will give you some valuable information should you get the call to be on radio or TV, which I think is extremely important. If you'd like to contact me personally, drop me a line at Gayle Carson, that's Gayle, Gayle Carson 13 at gmail.com, or go to my website, www.spunkyoldbroad.com, and sign up for my weekly newsletter. My guest today is Rachel Pisani, who is the founder of Rachel Pisani Marketing, an accomplished marketing, analytics, and business development executive with more than 20 years of experience. She has a wealth of experience in strategic marketing, branding, and cohesive marketing. With her background, she's uniquely equipped to help clients achieve their marketing goals and is recognized as a leader in branding and strategy for organizations looking to increase their brand recognition, creating a social media presence, and implementing specific marketing campaigns that will increase revenue for its clients. Previously, Rachel was president and CEO of Elan Enterprises, a consulting firm in the Washington, D.C. area and a key player in several successful D.C.-based technology companies where she helped to set up their board of directors, bring VC funding to the table, place CEOs and executives, conduct business process reengineering, implement marketing strategies, and negotiate M&As, which is mergers and acquisitions. Welcome to Women in Business, Rachel. So, how has this new business helped your clients?
So we help them in a number of ways. We work with speakers, we work with associations, we work with startup companies as well as well-established businesses. And we help them actually start by creating a cohesive marketing strategy that actually helps them reach the goals that they have. So a lot of businesses, they get into the business and they get in the trenches and don't take the time to step back and actually create a clear strategy that can walk them to the specific goals that they're looking for. And so in turn, they get caught up in the doing of the business and not really looking at it from a strategic approach. So we help them take that time to step back, look at a strategic approach, and create a strategy that actually increases their business.
So if you were giving somebody advice, what would you say to them? So that where do you see people lack the marketing that they should be doing? If they want to better market their company and they're listening today, what advice would you give them?
Hands down, I would tell them to analyze their business first. Do a comprehensive review of what they're doing, what works and what doesn't work. One of the biggest failures that businesses have is they don't analyze the data that's available to them. So I would look at your data, stop, look at where your clients are coming from, where your revenue is coming from, what are the different revenue streams that you're generating, what's working, what's not working. Then I would take a step and I would say, let's cut out anything that's not working, anything that's not fruitful, anything that's not gaining revenue right now. I would cut that out of my business strategy overall. I would also then stop and say, what are the ultimate goals? Okay, I want to increase my revenues, but do I want to increase my revenues by 10%, 20%? How do I want to do that? And then create a clear strategy to meet those goals. When you're looking at a strategy, you want to look at every possible piece that can go into play to build that strategy. So what are the marketing tools that you need to use? Every marketing tool is not the same for every business. So what works for one business might not work for another. So evaluating those tools, evaluating your data, and then creating a winning strategy is what I would start with.
Well, do you think people can do that on their own? I mean, I kind of have always just gone for it. I mean, I have a marketing message and I have things that I want to do and I have a plan and so forth, but pretty much I just go and do it. So
right.
I think
and a lot of people do. A lot of people do. But if you want to grow something and then sustain that growth, so a lot of people, when you're doing your own business and it's just you, that's fantastic. But when you want to start growing that or expanding it or sustaining that growth, you really need a strategy. And yes, people can do it themselves. I've seen many successful people that started their business, and on a consistent basis, they were looking at their business and what was working and what wasn't working. And actually, Dr. Carson, you probably do this on a more consistent basis than you realize, right? If something works, you probably do more of it. If you didn't like how it turned out, you probably don't do it again. So you probably do it maybe not even consciously, but if you're succeeding in anything in life, you're constantly looking at what's working, what's not working. Even look at personal, right? Look at us individually as women or as individuals. When you're in a relationship that's not working, successful people and have successful relationships, you eventually say, hey, that doesn't work for me, so I'm not going to make those same mistakes next time that I get into a relationship. It's the same thing in business. Those things didn't work, so you're not going to make those same mistakes. So I think people do it consciously and subconsciously.
Yeah, I think there are people who stay in relationships, whether it's business or personal, a little too long, but that's a whole other subject area.
Yes,
So
yes.
in owning your own business, Rachel, what are the three things you've learned that have really impacted you the most?
Oh, well, number one is I don't know everything, right? So knowing what I don't know, that's huge. And then number two, surrounding myself with people that are doing what I want to do or have experienced success in ways that I want to experience that same success, learning from them. Knowledge, I think, is key to becoming successful. And understanding what you don't know and getting around people that can help you, whether it's books, whether it's coaching programs, whether it's individuals that are mentoring you, whether it's just taking a colleague out to lunch to try to understand how they do what they do. Learning is key to growth. I also think one of the top things that I've realized is that I can't do everything. So I may be great at marketing. I may be great at creating a strategy, but I am terrible at managing finances. I don't want to use QuickBooks. I don't want to use an accounting system. I don't want to deal with payroll. So outsourcing what you don't enjoy or outsourcing what you're not great at is also key to success. You have to realize that sometimes we can't do everything. And specifically, as a female, I think a lot of us are taught that we can do everything and we can have it all and we can do everything that we want. And really, in all honesty, if we look at it, when we evaluate it, maybe we can, but do we have to? So find the right people. Find the people that do it better than you and bring them in. Don't be fearful to outsource things that you're not great at and spend your time doing what you really love doing.
Well, I totally agree with you there. I mean, there are things that I should never touch. That's for sure. And most of that is in the technology area. The other thing is that what you're good at usually is easier for you to do anyway. But that is not a reason to rest on your laurels. You continually have to be updating yourself and looking at how you can do things better and continually and so forth and so on. The key message, but what is the key message you want your clients to hear when they're working with you? I mean, do you have a specific process that you go through with them?
I do. Yes, I do. So I sit down with my clients and before we do anything, we do a strategy session. I sit down and I ask them a ton of questions and ask them why they're doing what they do, how they feel when they do certain things. Is that fulfilling for them? Why did they start doing what they did? So we go through a whole assessment, which helps me to understand what they're good at, what they're successful at, what they're making money at, what they're not making money at, where they might be draining money. So that then allows me to create a clear strategy for them. Once that strategy is set up, then we put in the tools and the resources that are needed to get them to those goals. So we have specific time frames. We have specific tools and resources that we say, okay, for instance, if you want to do a podcast, what are the tools that you need to do that? What is the topic you're going to talk about? Who is your audience? So we go and walk them through that process. We start with their goals. We drill down to initiatives. We assign tasks for each of those initiatives. And then we assign tools and resources and time frames for each of those tasks. So it's a very precise, metrics-driven approach to marketing versus a very ethereal, pie-in-the-sky kind of view.
That's really impressive. You've got quite a history and a background that I used in the introducing of you. But I'm wondering, what was the biggest obstacle that you had to overcome when starting your business? Because, there's always something we don't count on, always.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, fear. Fear was my biggest obstacle. Can I do it? Will I be good at it? I'm really great at working for other people. I realized at a young age, I'm a people pleaser. I want people to be proud of me. I want people to be happy. I want to make them happy, right? And that motivates me. So I'm really great at working for other people and building other people's businesses. But I was really fearful at the thought of building my own. Can I do it? I don't have a safety net to fall back into. I'm the sole provider for my family. I have 3 children. I have a husband. I have a mother that is now living with me. So I have a lot of responsibility. Is that something that I should be taking on when I have all of these things that I'm responsible for at this point in my life? So I think fear, overcoming the fear of that, is probably the biggest challenge that I had to have.
That's so interesting, because if there's any statement that would come out of my mouth, it would be, I can never work for anybody. So here you are saying, I work very well for other people. And I guess it's great, when you're a marketing expert, to do that for your clients. But I never wanted to work for anybody else. I was in business when I was 21 and never looked back. So interesting, different ways people approach things. So what do you do to continue to grow personally?
Oh, well, I would say the very first thing is I have a strong faith, and I constantly feed that faith and belief in God. That is my number one thing that keeps me going. So through all the obstacles and tragedies and things that have occurred in my life, I know that is what keeps me going. So not only do I cultivate that faith in God, but also I'm a strong believer that you have to learn and increase your knowledge. So I read, I listen to podcasts, I surround myself with people that know a lot more than I do, and that keeps me on my toes. I'm constantly learning something every day that I didn't know the day before. And I think that's what keeps us growing instead of stagnant. I think that's what actually propels us to do greater and better things on a daily basis.
Well, I think that's true. I mean, I do the same thing. I very much like to, I love my webinars I listen to and the conferences I go to, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right. So that's a big part of it. But when your clients come to you, what's the number one challenge that you see that they have?
Well, I actually would say it's a couple of things. One is some of my, I wouldn't say my clients, but I think some individuals that are looking for marketing support think that they can do it all themselves. And I think that's a big challenge to overcome, because they want to save money, or they think that they're the only ones that know how to market their business. And overcoming that and understanding that there are other ways of doing things. I think another challenge that clients may have is they've always done things a certain way, and they've achieved some success in doing that. And so changing that is very fearful. They are very cautious to say, okay, I haven't done this before. Let me get out of my comfort zone and try it. For instance, with my clients, I have some clients that are incredible. I have some speakers. I represent a lot of speakers. And I have speakers that are great in front of a crowd of thousands, but they don't want to do video. They just don't enjoy doing video. They want to be in front of people. And getting them out of their comfort zone to say, hey, you can do this, right? Let's create an environment where you're stretching yourself. I think that's probably one of the biggest challenges for my clients, is being able to stretch themselves into areas that they're not as comfortable with, whether that's spending more on certain things or whether that's doing something different that they haven't done before.
Well, I think it's true. I think that none of us like to do something we haven't done before, and especially when we're not sure we know how to do it. So you're right. It's
fear of failure.
Yeah, fear of failure. That's right. So what would you say? Do you have someone in the background talking?
No, I'm sorry. It's probably a speaker in the hall.
Okay, yeah, because we're going to have to cut all that out. Okay, back on subject. So how do people find out about you, Rachel?
So most of my clients have been referrals. People refer people to me. Another way that people find me is they see something that my client does, and they want to know who did it for them, right? So again, a sort of referral. But I do a lot of events. I speak at events, letting them know what I do. When I speak on a topic, typically people are going, oh, wow, I never thought of that. I want to do that. I need to talk to her and understand how she does that. So speaking, networking, attending events, doing your day-to-day marketing across social media and web and the internet.
That's great. That's a wonderful, wonderful way of doing it. So how will people get a hold of you? How would people get a hold of you, Rachel? What is the best way
to reach me?
Yeah.
They can reach me at rachelpisanimarketing.com, or they can reach me through my website. Either one will come directly to me.
Okay, now listen to how she spells her name, because this is important. Rachel for Rachel, and then Pisani is Pisani. So rachelpisanimarketing.com is her website, and that's how you can contact her and reach her. And I had the pleasure of meeting her at the National Speakers Association. She was exhibiting there with one of her clients who has written a bestseller. I'm going to be interviewing him later on. And it's interesting because there are so many people in the marketing business, and you want to make sure you've got somebody who knows what they're doing, and you want to meet somebody who is going to be able to say, yes, I did this for this person, I did this for that person, and really have the testimonials to back it up. So that's one of the reasons why it's important to know somebody like Rachel. So are there other items, that we haven't talked about, Rachel? We've got about 3 minutes left, and I want to make sure we get everything out there that you want said. Is there anything that we haven't mentioned that you would like for our audience to know about you or your business?
Sure. I would just leave you with this. When we look at starting a business or creating a business or even succeeding in an existing business, it's really important that you love what you do. It's really important that you're passionate about what you do. And if you are, the right people will come into your path. And so if you're looking to succeed, if you're looking to grow, if you're looking to take your business to the next level, start looking for areas that you can invest in personally to develop and to grow, and find the right people. What you said was so true, Dr. Carson. You have to find somebody that has a track record. Do they have people that they can point to and say, hey, this is how we accomplished this? And this is how we succeeded in this area. seek those people out and you will be successful.
Yeah, that's so, so important. A lot of people just plunge into things and they don't really, they don't really have a roadmap. They don't really have a plan. And I see that's what you're doing for them, Rachel, is you're giving them a plan.
Absolutely.
You're slowing them down so that you can speed them up, because by slowing
Yes.
down and talking with them and creating a plan, and also it's got to be a plan they can live with. I mean, it might be wonderful
Yes.
for you to suggest it, but if they don't go along with it or they don't buy into it, it doesn't do anybody any good. So having a plan that both of you can agree to and work with are key factors. So again, if you're interested in someone to bring um, some notoriety, I'll call it, some notoriety to your business, some shine to your business, some way to get people to look at who you are and what you do, go to RachelPisaniMarketing.com. It has really been a pleasure to talk with you today, Rachel, and I really appreciate all you're doing for the people that you work with. And I know that you have the energy for this because I saw you and you were doing some really tough things in heels, by the way. If you're listening, ladies, she was in heels, standing behind her booth, and that's an accomplishment in itself. So thank you so much for being with us, Rachel, and lots of luck to you in the future.
Dr. Carson, thank you so much for the opportunity. Have a great day.
Thanks for listening to Women in Business. I hope you enjoyed today's show. And if you have any suggestions as to who you'd like me to have as a guest, just email me at gaylecarson13@gmail.com. Be sure to check out www.sob6tips.com. And in the meantime, go to www.spunkyoldbroad.com to see the resources I have for you.